Trekcast.
The galaxy's most unpredictable Star Trek podcast.
There we are.
Hello, hello.
Hey, oh, he's driving.
Yeah, I had something came up. I have to be somewhere.
Okay,
For a while.
okay.
So in order to make the timeline work, I have to multitask.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Hey.
I am mobile though, so if I cut out, I will be back.
Okay.
I'll be back.
There
You know what? He didn't say that in this movie.
No, he didn't.
No,
I don't think
but
that
we'll
was
get
his
to it.
line.
Good morning, Bronson. Good morning, Chaz Biz.
Yeah, good morning. Oh, look at this. Bronson, I started a new job. So today my last time watching it live. Wow.
Oh, no. Well, then you know what you have to do,
Oh.
Bronson. You have to email, and you definitely have to send in a voicemail.
That's right. That's
No,
right.
he has to find an even newer job and get his
There we
priorities
go.
straight.
There you go. Yeah, come on. Trekcast first.
That's right. That's what I was thinking, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, welcome everybody. We're going to be talking about the late great Carl Weathers today.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of a sad show about that. But yeah. Other than that, how are you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. The weather's looking nice. It's getting warm, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
that's
is gonna be,
not a thing here.
yeah. For Michigan, this is our fake spring.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get those in Idaho. We get like 2 or 3 of them.
Yep. So
Yeah.
this will be one of the ways that Michigan weather likes to screw with our emotions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's almost 50 degrees outside. The sun is out, and I'm sure next week we'll probably get a nice storm.
Nice.
So
All right. And then
how you doing, Daniel?
Oh, I'm good. I've been prepping my trip for the Long Island Trek convention.
Outstanding.
Oh, we lost Dan.
Oh no.
He's just frozen.
What is his name?
Greef Karga, which is based off of Carl Weathers' character in The Mandalorian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's
so-
I'm on my cell phone, so the print is so small I couldn't read it.
Yeah, no, Greef Karga. So
Okay.
it's a solid. Oh no, he's moving again.
Oh,
Okay,
Dan's moving again. We can see
Yeah.
the steering wheel.
there you go.
Yep.
Yeah. No, so I'm planning for the vacation, or trip. So I already got my plane ticket.
is out
and,
here?
What was that, Dan?
I'm here.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not keeping up, but that's all right. We'll tell you what. Let's get into the entertainment news. We'll handle the Carl Weathers stuff in the main stuff, but for
Okay.
now we'll do some other news. Right. So our first news story comes to us from Variety, and I don't know if you guys are aware, but apparently at the top tier of podcasting, you can make a lot of money. And Joe Rogan just renewed his deal with Spotify for $250 million. On top of that, for $250 million, he will no longer be exclusive to Spotify. So his show will be everywhere again. And for the last 3 years, it had been exclusive to Spotify, but that won't be the case anymore. So he's making a lot of money over there.
Wow. I actually called my agent.
Did you? Yes.
Yeah. And so you'll probably get a phone call as the producer. You'll probably get a phone call from him.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to negotiate my contract.
As you should. I wanted to, I feel like I can speak on behalf of the show and just announce to Spotify that we are willing to negotiate. And now, since you paid $250 million for one guy,
Right.
we will do the show for $600 million. And
That's
you get
right.
3 guys.
That's right.
So
it's a
bargain.
deal.
Yes.
It's a bargain. Yeah.
We're willing to work with you.
Yep. Yeah, sure.
So,
Sure.
yes. So
Yeah.
I don't
Jeez.
see what date that the show will start being, the Joe Rogan show will start being everywhere else, but it should be soon. because the old deal is ending soon. So yeah,
That's a lot of money for a podcast,
right? Yeah,
Like-
it's kind of crazy.
I mean, I don't think people like. I'm just thinking of like people perennials like Pat Sajak, for example, or somebody
Yeah.
who's on TV, every day, 5 days a week,
he's not working
that kind of money,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Joe Rogan is huge.
He's a big deal. So yeah,
he's a big guy. He's a big deal.
He's a big deal. Yeah.
So,
Do you think he makes so much money because he's like,
draw.
well, that and like he's a pretty strong dude and knows how to fight. So like, you think he walks in negotiations like, you're gonna pay me this much or you're gonna go in a headlock?
So you think he's the Walmart of negotiators? He just locks people in a
just
small
intimidates
room?
them? Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe that
that's
could
what
very
it is.
well be.
All right.
Yeah.
Our next news story comes to us from IndieWire, and suddenly director claims that Jake Gyllenhaal and him didn't quite work out on the set of a new film. So apparently, Jake Gyllenhaal had been working on a movie alongside actress Vanessa Kirby. It was the remake of some French film, who I am not going to try to pronounce the name of the French film. But yes, Pepe Le Pew, A Love Story. I don't know what it was called. But they had been working on this film in Europe. The film was about a $26 million film. And apparently Jake Gyllenhaal is batshit crazy and was demanding all sorts of changes. There was one incident where they were out scouting locations. So they were looking like where they were going to shoot the movie. And at one point they were near an ocean in Iceland. And Jake Gyllenhaal literally stopped and dressed down to his underwear and jumped in the ocean because he said that he needed to be in the water the minute he sees an ocean. There's also reports that he was very strict on COVID protocols because this was a little over a year ago or so, and he demanded that all the set builders sleep in their cars as to prevent more possible infection spread. And
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, a little bit. Jake Gyllenhaal has also, his people have kind of said, things were overblown and it wasn't quite that bad, but there were creative differences. So yeah, they've already sunk $26 million into this film. We'll never see it because it never got made. And yeah.
Oh,
every
egos.
time I hear about some actor being out of their mind, it's not hard to believe because here's a person where their job is to create a completely different reality and live in it for a period of time.
Right.
So hearing that they don't have a grasp of what's normal and what's reality, I buy it.
Yeah, for sure. And I also wonder, like, the director was a French director, and he said, in Europe, the way we handle making films is different than the way they do in the US. Like in Europe, the director is basically just in charge and nobody questions them. Whereas in America, it's more collaborative. So there's also that kind of differences. And,
well, big egos, big money, big production, it's bound to,
they'll do it.
Heads are gonna, but
yeah. And then our last news story comes to us from Panda Daily. That old chestnut.
Yeah, of course.
And I thought that for this group this might be a thing. So Hasbro seeks to sell Dungeons and Dragons, and has already reached contact with a potential buyer, Tencent, which is a they're kind of basically a private equity firm in China, and they may be purchasing Dungeons and Dragons, the IP for that. Dungeons and Dragons is one of the biggest IPs in Hasbro's quiver right now, so they would be losing the golden goose. Recently, D&D was the backbone of something called Baldur's Gate 3, which has won Game of the Year award in just last year. So it's a pretty big deal that they're looking to get rid of this thing. But yeah,
that's a lot of money involved in that, especially with the new movie that came out, and
right,
all the there's some new, like, with the movie comes new merchandising,
right,
money, and because I've seen Dungeons and Dragons in the store,
Yeah.
as cups and mugs and action figures and stuff like that that I hadn't seen in a very long time. And merchandise, as we know, Star Trek is it's huge on this. Merchandising is a very big deal. The licensing of merchandising is a big deal. So when I hear news stories like this, my mind always goes to merchandising and how they capitalize on merchandise. And hold on a second, I gotta.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he went away.
Good.
Yeah. Finally, we can talk. That's right. But yeah, no, he
Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, did that movie do well? I didn't.
The movie
see it.
itself did not do that well. I understand it did turn a profit, but not much of one. But apparently, it has gotten a lot of like views on streaming and a lot of buzz. It's like become a cult classic kind of. So the thought is, if they do another one, it probably would make a lot more money. Yeah, Chazbiz's saying it was funny. Yeah, it was surprisingly good for what it was, if you're into that stuff. So yeah. Did you, I'm guessing you didn't watch it, Dan?
I did.
Dungeons and Dragons.
I did, and it's one of those things where you're talking about it right now, and I'm like, oh yeah, I should go.
Oh, look, the Moopsie's here.
Oh, the Moopsie.
Oh no, we're in trouble now. The Moopsie's gonna get us all. Yes, there he is. Yeah. Oh, he's shooting the Moopsie. Okay.
Okay,
good.
I'm back.
All right.
Sorry,
Yeah.
guys. I'm back. Okay,
Nice.
so
You got all your merch?
little technical difficulty there with okay. Yep, I'm back. Can you hear me?
I thought you had a low roll on broadcast.
Oh,
Since we were
Hey,
here we
doing,
go.
Scott,
Yeah.
Scott, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Get all your technical stuff worked out before show.
That's right.
Okay, have a little
You're absolutely right.
professionalism.
The professionalism in this broadcast on my part is lacking, and I apologize. I really do.
We hold ourselves to a certain standard.
Indeed. Quite right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Moopsie. Sorry to interrupt the podcast, but
Yeah.
this was a birthday present for my wife.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, it's a Moopsie. And
Nice.
these are not, I hope I don't have the FBI knocking on my door, but these, they don't have these as officially licensed products.
No,
So-
which is a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But
So,
all right. Well, that's all the news. So let's get to our supplemental spotlight. All right. So the big thing we are spotlighting this time is the passing earlier this week of Carl Weathers, who,
yes.
yeah, big deal for a lot of us in this age group. We grew up watching him, from Predator to Rockey to a million other movies and TV appearances. Recently, The Mandalorian. Yeah, guy was big. Arrested Development, he had a very noteworthy role in. He did action, he did comedy. He was in what was it, Happy Gilmore, Adam Sandler's movie?
Yep.
Yeah, he was Chubbs. So yeah. Oh no! No.
Dan's cutting out. I would like to take this opportunity to say that I love Happy Gilmore. I love anything that Adam Sandler's in. I think I speak for Dan when I say that Adam Sandler is one of the greatest actors of our generation.
Oh, absolutely.
Everything he's in is absolutely golden. And I think I heard Dan Lombardo say that a couple of times. That Adam Sandler is just
he originally wanted to change the
gem.
show to Sandler Cast.
Yes, he did.
We had to prevent him.
Did.
Yeah.
And and it's not a bad idea, Dan. I mean, I understand your love for Adam Sandler is deep and wide. So I just wanted to agree with you.
I mean, when he pitched Jack and Jill Month, I was I was very against it.
Yep.
So my video cut out, but I heard all of that.
Okay.
I know.
Okay. Good.
We were hoping.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Adam Sandler there, Dan? Oh, he's cut out again. Let me fill in for him. Dan told me earlier that he respects the guy as an actor, as an artist mainly.
There you go. Well, we'll tell you what. Since we're talking about Carl Weathers, we do have some reaction from those who worked with him. But first, I want to start with reaction from probably one of the people best attached to him, and that is Sylvester Stallone. He released a little video. Video's about a minute long. I want to play the full thing, and then we'll continue. So hold on.
Hello, everyone. Today is an incredibly sad day for me. I mean, I'm so torn up, I can't even tell you. I'm just trying to hold it in because Carl Weathers was such an integral part of my life, my success, everything about it. I give him incredible credit and kudos because when he walked into that room and I saw him for the first time, I saw greatness, but I didn't realize how great. I never could have accomplished what we did with Rockey without him. He was absolutely brilliant. His voice, his size, his power, his athletic ability, but more importantly, his heart, his soul. It's a horrible loss. And I'm standing here in front of this painting because it was probably the last moment we were ever in the ring together, and I'll never forget it. He was magic. And I was so fortunate to be part of his life. So, Apollo, keep punching.
So that was released the day he passed away.
Yeah.
We do also have a reaction from some of his co-stars. Arnold Schwarzenegger releasing on Twitter, X, whatever you call it. Carl Weathers will always be a legend, an extraordinary athlete, fantastic actor, and a great person. We couldn't have made Predator without him. We certainly had such a wonderful time making it. Jesse Ventura also says we lost an icon, and you can see the two of them there together. Carl Weathers was a phenomenal talent, true professional, and dear friend. All my sympathies and love to his family. I loved working with him on Predator and then celebrating that film with him at various conventions in the ensuing years. And then Robert Rodriguez, who recently worked with him on The Mandalorian as one of the directors of some of the episodes. And he says, we'll miss the great Carl Weathers, who I was very fortunate to work with on several occasions. A very kind and generous person. His performances were always electrifying, and he was a terrific director of both stage and screen. So,
yeah.
I think he's directed a couple episodes of Mando last season.
Yeah. You're saying, Dan just said he thinks he directed a couple episodes of Mandalorian.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's right. Yes.
And that's the last big thing he did.
That is the last
Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And he had a presence, even though he was just a side character.
I'm sorry, Dan. It's starting to go.
Do we know if they filmed the next season of?
They have not. No. Yeah. Okay.
We heard what you. Yeah.
Yeah. They have not started filming. Right now, it's kind of in limbo if they were going to do a season 4 or if they're going to do a movie. I know they recently announced a movie, so no, nothing has been filmed.
So if they do that, they're going to have to find a way to write that character out.
Yeah. Your volume is really low, dude. I don't know what that is, but yeah.
All right. Let me reset. I'll be back.
Okay.
Okay.
Ty J says that Gina Carano had a great tribute to him on Twitter. It's a fairly long post. Oh, that's cool. I missed that. I just only saw a handful of them on Twitter.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's tons more.
That he was very supportive of her after all the controversy and everything.
Oh,
with her.
Yeah.
So she had really kind words to say about him.
Yeah, he sounds like he was just a class act everywhere he went.
Yeah, it sounds like he was well liked, well respected, hard worker. So
he yeah, he's just a big deal. I was surprised by it when even my dad texted me. My dad is not into like celebrity culture at all, and was just like, "Hey, did you see that he died?"
Yeah.
Apollo Creed was a big thing in our family, mainly because my grandpa's luchador name was also Apollo, so we always had that connection.
Okay.
So that was kind of fun for us. But now you watch his movies with a little bit of sadness because there's no more.
Yeah, and in those, the Rocky movies specifically, transcend generations. My 18-year-old has watched all the Rocky movies.
Yeah.
So I was a kid when they came out, and
right.
Like I said, I didn't watch Predator until I was 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So that was my first time watching Predator was about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And it was it was 80s, it was late 80s kind of action movie. It reminded me a lot of the Expendables. You've got the biggest names with the biggest arms, playing army dudes, but it was a lot of fun. It was, I really liked it.
There he is. It gave birth to that meme, the big hand or big arms.
Yeah. So that, the Predator was a good movie. Carl Weathers, there's a couple of things I was going to mention about Carl Weathers that I saw on IMDb. The biggest thing for our fans would be interested to know is that he was one of the original actors that auditioned for the part of Captain Benjamin Lafayette Sisko on Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
Really? So, I did not know that.
Yeah. So, Daniel and I were talking before the show. That would have been interesting to see, how he would have portrayed that character, especially the scene where the one and only episode of Deep Space Nine featuring Q.
Yeah.
And how Q brought him into that brought Sisko into that boxing ring. I would have liked to have seen that matchup.
The other thing I think about is if he was the lead on that show, what random guest stars we would get.
Yeah.
Because he was such a big deal,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. Would they just, I'll do your show.
Jesse Ventura.
Yeah.
That would have been great. He was a professional football player. He played for the Raiders.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Obviously, Apollo Creed. He also played in the Canadian Football League.
He was big. So,
he was inducted into the International Mustache Hall of Fame in 2016.
Amazing.
Goddamn right he is.
That's awesome.
Heck yeah.
That's great. Well, to kind of pay tribute to him, we decided to review his classic film, the 1987 film Predator, which I realized as we announced that on social media, there was no way I was going to do #Predator next to his face. So
yeah. Chris Hansen kind of ruined that.
Yeah. So that did not get tagged. On a lot of social media, people just kept saying how much they loved him and how great he was. So so we reviewed the film. I watched it last night. I don't know about you guys, or Scott said he watched it a few months ago, but Dan, did you watch it recently?
I watched it yesterday, and circling back to something we've talked about a lot lately.
Yeah.
I checked for it on all the streaming services that I have, and wasn't available.
Not available.
Even though it's a Fox film, and it should be right there on Disney Plus. It wasn't. So I went to the trusty DVD rack and pulled it out, and you know what? I'm convinced at this point that I am team physical media 100%.
Yep, I agree with you.
I'm just going to start buying discs again.
Yep. Even if they're DVDs from the bargain bin, just to have them.
Yeah.
I had to rent it on Amazon
anymore.
Yeah.
At my Walmart, I don't see the bargain bins anymore. I used to go through there from time to time and see what treasures were there. And I don't know if they moved them out recently or what, but I don't see them anymore.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been in my Walmart, so I don't know. I'll let you know.
Well, they stopped selling them at Best Buy. I've seen a bargain DVD bin at Menards. Menards is I think it's a regional thing for us. It's like a Lowe's or a Home Depot.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We have something over here called Entertainment Mart, and it's nothing but DVDs, basically.
Oh,
So,
nice.
Yeah. But we still have video stores in Idaho, so that's weird. Like, you can go rent DVDs and Blu-rays.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's what Idaho's like.
Well, it's weird because there's a lot of areas that don't have internet because it's just too far out. So that's why they have them, so people can go rent their movies and watch them in their cabins. So
Right. Their cabins.
I don't know, man. Technology has ruined so many things.
Yeah.
It used to be a trip to the video store to plan out your weekend.
Yeah.
It was like such a thing and a family event. And, all right, the kids get 2 movies, mom and dad get 2 movies.
Yep.
And, you drive home with your 4 VHS tapes under your arm. And it's just
or your Nintendo and Super Nintendo game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So 35, 38 years later, what do you think of Predator?
Dude, I think it still holds up.
Yeah?
So
Yeah. I think it's very action packed. Surprisingly so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was,
I don't know. There were some things that, I don't know. Some things, maybe not that they don't hold up, but that, okay, if this movie was made today, it would not be like this.
No, there were some things that were different for sure. But as far as the storyline and all that, I think it held up.
Yeah. There's a term in Hollywood called the Magic Negro. Are you familiar with that term?
Yeah, I've heard it.
Where, there's an African-American character who, for whatever reason, has some sort of supernatural abilities, but their only reason for being there and having those abilities is to further the story for a Caucasian character.
Right.
And
wow. Okay. I had never heard that.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's a real term.
The perfect example is the Green Mile.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the perfect example. The story is, it's a Tom Hanks story, but Michael Clark Duncan is the Magic Negro in that situation. So I'm watching this, and I can't help but feel like the character of Billy is just the Magic Native American.
Oh,
all he is there for is to, there's something in those trees, Major.
Yeah.
No explanation of how he would know this.
Right.
They're like, ask Billy what happened. And Billy looks at some twigs and some leaves, and he's like, there were 12 men. They were shooting in every direction. They were all wearing, U.S. Army issued boots. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You don't have magic, even though the music would indicate that you have magic. You do not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for sure.
I think they touched on that. I just a few minutes ago before the show, I watched Everything Wrong With, that series on YouTube, and Everything Wrong with the Predator, and they did touch on that. Like, is this supposed to be a fantasy? Like, does he have magical powers? Like, does he hear stuff in the woods? What is this?
Yeah.
I mean, there's, I understand that tracking is a thing.
Right.
People can go in the wilderness and track animals and pick up different cues from the environment around them. But there were 12 men. They left in opposite directions, and they were wearing these kind of shoes.
Right.
That was kind of silly.
Yeah.
But
I thought it was kind of funny that Carl Weathers' character was clearly, he had a connection to Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, but now was working for the CIA, so he had kind of pulled them into there. Watching that movie, I kind of like, I love Carl Weathers, don't get me wrong, but I kind of wondered what it would have been like if Billy D. Williams played that role, being the like smooth talking CIA agent.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have to look at this through the lens of 1987.
Right.
And so, here's all these guys in the woods. You got these career military guys, and then you got this CIA guy, and right off the bat, they don't trust him.
Right.
We were less than 2 decades out of Vietnam at this point.
Yeah.
About 2 decades out of Vietnam. So, the soldier in green doesn't trust the agent in a suit.
Right.
And by the end of the movie, they were right, because he used them. He used them as tools.
Yep.
So
yeah. One fun fact about the movie, the guy that constantly makes fun of his girlfriend, that character, that character is played by Shane Black, and Shane Black is the screenwriter. You probably know him best as the creator of Lethal Weapon.
Okay.
He also did like the third Iron Man film.
Yeah.
Guy's prolific screenwriter, but it's funny to see him just walking around the jungle with a gun.
Yep.
So,
I forgot all those jokes.
yeah.
And I had asked my son, I said, hey, the guy who played Greef Karga on Mando, he died the other day. So I'm going to be watching Predator for the podcast. Is that something you want to watch with me? And he was like, yeah, I don't know. And I said, okay, no problem. And I watched it alone. And I'm kind of glad I did.
Yeah.
The jokes that guy was telling.
Yeah.
I would have wanted to pause it and explain that, because I tell my son, if there's ever anything you don't understand, you just tell me and I pause it and I'll explain it to you. Yeah, I don't want to explain that.
You don't want to explain the echo?
No, I don't want to explain the echo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
It was pretty graphic, man. Skin people and
Carl Weathers' death scene in that was fantastic.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, spoiler alert. He's walking around in the woods and everybody's looking for the predator, and he hears the predator and he turns around and he starts shooting at the predator, and the predator shoots his plasma weapon at him. Yep. And he hits him in his firing arm. He's got like an MP5 kind of weapon, and he shoots him in the arm, and it shoots, and his arm gets blown off. Yeah. And as the arm is falling down to the ground, it's still clutching the weapon, the automatic weapon, and it's still shooting the weapon.
Yes.
Yeah, like because his arm knew its duty.
That's right.
His arm knew its duty to the last breath. And it was great. And then he picks up another weapon with his other arm and starts shooting at the predator, and that's when he gets stabbed. It was fantastic. Yeah, I loved it. I think that his arm should have gotten some kind of Oscar nod.
Well, I love that the movie is it starts out as just this is going to be a generic action film about these guys in the jungle and they've got to go on a rescue mission, and then it just turns into, and then a space monster shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah. I'll tell you what, some of the effects look a little aged.
Yeah, a little bit.
Some of them, I mean, the ship at the beginning looks good.
Yeah.
The Predator's face, that looks good.
Yeah. That's Sam Winston, man. That guy knew what he was doing.
As who?
Sam Winston, the special effects. Yeah.
Yep.
I was reading about the invisibility, the cloaking effect.
Yeah.
On IMDb, and it was done with a red suit, the size of the Predator, because red was the most opposite of green of the jungle and blue of the sky.
Right.
And the red was removed with chroma key technology. Chroma key is basically when you do a blue or green screen, and then you remove the subject.
Yep.
It's
how they do the weather on the TV.
Yeah, and then the take was then repeated without the actors, using a wider lens. And when you combine the two takes, the thing that was removed is covered by the stuff from the wider lens take.
Right.
And it creates that background, that outline, sort of shimmering effect. That was kind of cool. And I thought that effect sort of held up. It kind of reminded me of the Jem'Hadar. You know, how they do that effect.
Yeah.
So
Ty J says,
how.
yeah, that's true. Ty J brings up that Jean-Claude Van Damme was originally the Predator, which is true. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I did a little deep dive on that, and I got a note. Yeah, he was originally cast to play the Predator. They wanted a physical action star, like the original idea with the Predator. He's more of like he could move a lot faster, kind of like a space ninja.
Right.
But Van Damme couldn't move in the suit that they made him.
Right.
And he was constantly bitching about, how hot it was, and he couldn't, doing that kind of stuff. Plus, Van Damme is 5'9".
Right.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is 6'2", between 6'2" and 6. All the other guys were between 6'2" and 6'5". All these bodybuilders, and so Kevin Peter Hall replaced him. And he's 7'2". So
right, he's
I
a
think
big
it's the right
dude.
choice.
Yeah,
I think he would have looked weird as like some sort of ninja flying through the trees.
Oh, for sure. It would have been a different movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the movie. I loved all the practical effects, all the real explosions and the squibs going off, and I thought that was great.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm a little disappointed that we never. I mean, I know they've done a bunch of Predator and Alien Predator movies since then, but we never revisit the character of Dutch.
Yeah.
You never find out. I mean, he and the prisoner, the girl, they escaped. They're fine in the end. They're flying away on a helicopter. Do they even reference him in any of the other movies?
I don't know. That's a good point. In fact, the reason why I watched Predator 6 months ago is because I wanted to watch the other films. And I watched Predator. I haven't watched any of the other films, but I wanted to watch the movie Prey. And so I wanted to get a little bit of background. So, and I'm a big Alien fan too. And so I wanted to get a little bit of, I kind of wanted to watch Predator as sort of a prequel to sort of get some information about it before I watched Alien vs. Predator.
I think it's in one of the Aliens vs. Predators, or maybe just one of the Predator sequels. They all kind of blur together. But they do mention that something went down in the 80s in the jungles. I think they say in Nicaragua.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah. But it's a quick, whatever. I know that in some of the comic books and books, there are stories of what happens next with Dutch. There's one version where he somehow gets on one of the ships and flies to them to go attack like a predator colony.
What?
Yeah,
he went all fast and furious on their asses.
He took the hunt to them. So yeah.
Get to the spaceship.
Yeah. Bronson says Prey is incredible. Yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good.
Well, maybe that'll be my next thing that I start watching.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys something. How often does the word helicopter come up in conversation and you just blurt out, "Get to the chopper"?
Right.
Every single time. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just making sure.
Yeah,
I was saying that before I watched Predator.
Oh yeah.
That's how much of a pop culture.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's such a big thing. So many things have spawned from this movie. It's kind of nuts, It was a Joel Silver produced film. That guy back in the day could do no wrong. He did so many awesome movies, like The Matrix and a few others. But
produced 2 U.S. State governors.
Yeah, that's true.
2. I mean,
2.
You can't say that in any other country in the world. Not a lot of them have states, but the fact that we had this movie where in the future 2 of the main actors would end up being governors.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you think Carl Weathers, God rest his soul, spent the rest of his life walking around wondering why he wasn't the governor of wherever he was from?
Right. Yeah.
He totally could have been. I guarantee whatever state, if he had.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Michigan would have welcomed him with open arms.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But the movie's pretty simplistic, right? They're told originally they need to go rescue a diplomat who has accidentally gone into the rebels side or something, just got trapped behind enemy lines, so they need to go rescue him. It ends up that Carl Weathers' character had tricked them, and really they were there to take out some guerrilla fighters and that was it. There was no diplomat. And then in the middle of all that, they somehow attract the predator, because the predator wants the best possible prey.
Yeah.
One thing I thought was kind of interesting that I didn't catch the first time I saw this movie is progressively throughout the film, they encounter different animals who want to attack them, and the animals get bigger and bigger until they reach the predator. So the first one is a scorpion that is about to hurt Carl Weathers. Then there is a giant snake that runs into Schwarzenegger, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Then Billy is it Billy who takes out the giant pig?
It's Mac.
Okay, yeah. So it
crazy.
Yeah.
He thinks it's the predator, or he thinks it's
right. That's right. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So eventually, like, each animal's bigger and more of a threat.
Yeah.
So eventually they get
they're
the
working
predator.
their way up to the apex predator.
Exactly. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of neat. Yeah. Just little. Yeah.
That is neat.
Yeah. I thought it was funny too. The fact that the predator is all fancy technology is just, ruined by mud.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it was mud. It was when he was in the water.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So clay, mud, and that's something they brought up on Everything Wrong With, is that, what about his eyeballs? And it might have been a different shade of blue, but it was still a shade of blue in the outline of a person. So you think that this master hunter would sort of be, especially in a jungle, wet type environment that's got mud and clay and stuff like that, that he would sort of, and can't you just, I understand that he's got that instrument that lets him see infrared, but can't he just default back to, like, I don't know, normal vision when that's not working?
I don't think I think that's his vision. I think he sees heat. I don't think he sees the regular.
So he's just like a viper. That's all. That's how he sees. Like, that's one of the. See, no, scratch what I just said. I assumed he was more like a pit viper, in that that was one way he can detect prey is by heat. I thought he had regular vision, because when he takes his helmet off, the POV shot of the predator,
it's different.
It changes a little bit.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
It also changes back and forth from, like, kind of regular vision to infrared vision, heat vision kind of thing.
Right.
But
right.
It's a little bit inconsistent, but
yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I it's like, okay, we have night vision goggles. When the sun comes up, you take them off. You don't keep wearing them throughout the day.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. I always assumed that's just the way he sees.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was obviously there was some sort of heads up display in his mask, because there was that strange text appearing next to what he was seeing.
Right. Is it addressed in any other movies that you guys know of?
Bronson says in the second movie, all he can see is UV.
Okay.
Oh, he can also see UV. Yeah.
He can also see UV.
Yeah. I am reading on IMDb that the clay that they used for Arnold Schwarzenegger apparently dramatically dropped his own internal body temperature, and so it became dangerous and made him, like, shivering, and so it took a while to get, like, clay stuff off of him and warm him back up.
Yeah.
But,
The funny story I read about, because this is all Jesse and Arnold, and all these guys are bodybuilders, and bodybuilders are, sort of famously kind of vain about their, their arms and their size. And I read that here, Jesse Ventura was delighted to find out from the wardrobe department that his arms were 1 inch bigger than Arnold Schwarzenegger's. He suggested to Schwarzenegger that they measure arms, with the winner getting a bottle of champagne. Ventura lost because Schwarzenegger had told the wardrobe department to tell Ventura that his arms were bigger. And it turns out not only were they not 1 inch bigger, that Schwarzenegger's arms were actually 3 inches bigger.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sounds like him. And then he probably told everyone, "Get out of here."
Yeah.
You're an embarrassment.
Yeah, I'm sure amongst those guys there was a lot of wiener measuring.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I can say though that after watching it, I do now have this desire to watch the rest of the series.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
I do too.
I guess it did its job.
yeah,
Yeah.
38 years later.
yeah. It's unfortunate that most of them are not that great, but
No.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, but
I mean,
even
there's
films like
something
that,
I
even though
haven't
they're
even
bad,
seen.
they're still pretty good.
What's that, Scott?
Well, with films like from the 80s and early 90s that are about stuff like that, campy films, even if they're bad, they're still pretty good.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know.
What were you gonna say, Dan?
No,
Yeah.
no, there were some of them. I'd have to look them up. I'm pretty sure there's some that I haven't seen.
Mm.
You know,
I
I
My
saw,
wife's seen all of them. I haven't seen. The only one I've seen is the first one.
yeah.
So you didn't watch Prey?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, it's really good.
It was just one of those things where like I wanted to get on a Predator kick, and then I watched the first one, and I liked it. And I just
Yeah.
life happened.
Yeah.
There was one they tried to reboot it maybe I don't know, maybe 10 years ago with the guy who was the bad guy in Logan. That one's pretty bad. Like it's really bad. But there's the one that Robert Rodriguez did, Predator, where they kidnap people and they take them to another planet.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that one.
That one's really good. It's got Lawrence Fishburne in it and Adrian Brody. Like it's a really good one.
Is that a
So
more
I-
recent one?
Ish, like maybe in the last 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's Predator, Predator 2, Alien versus Predator,
There's two of those, yeah.
Alien versus Predator with some other suffix.
Yeah.
There's Predators, The
Uh-huh.
Predator, and Prey. Is that all of them?
I believe that's all of them. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
So I think out of all those, I saw the first three and the last one.
Okay.
So I think there's like four of them in the middle.
Yeah,
All right. We need to do some research then.
yeah.
We need to
And then
pull
they
it up on
don't
our
really all connect. They're all kind of their own thing, which is interesting. Yeah.
Well, no, some of them do connect.
Loosely.
Yeah, they loosely connect.
Yeah.
Without ruining it for Scott, there's an artifact in Prey
That's right.
that you see the origins, or that's the origins of an artifact that appears in Predator 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I just might. Going back to the streaming BS. I also noticed that it wasn't on streaming.
Yeah.
Because I was just going to go through a few scenes and then it wasn't available, so I went to YouTube. But Predator 2 is available. I forgot on what streaming service I have got that.
I think most of them are on Hulu, I think.
Hulu. Okay.
I think so.
I'll probably check Predator 2 out this afternoon.
Yeah.
And check out Predator the musical. That was really good. I watched that this morning.
Yeah. I put it in our Facebook group.
All right,
Yeah.
good.
If it bleeds, we can kill it. Yeah.
Oh,
That song was stuck in my head most of last night. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Well, we got people waiting for us, so let's do listener feedback.
Get to the feedback.
Listener feedback.
All right. So we did get a lot of messages on social media just saying how much they loved Carl Weathers. And I did tell people that, if they wanted to come talk, they could. And so with that in mind, we've got Chazbiz, a.k.a. Chubbs.
What's up, Chubbs?
Yeah.
What's
He got
up?
his arm back, guys. He got his arm.
Yeah.
back.
He's got his arm back.
Yeah.
He kept losing arms in movies.
I know. It's like I realized that. I was like, wow, this guy likes to lose arms and die in movies. I mean, I think every movie he's died.
Oh my God! I never even put that together. Is that a reference to Predator?
Happy Gilmore?
It's got to
It
be,
could be.
right?
It's
It
the
could
same
be.
arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's got to be what it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome? Getting a joke 25 years late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's like, It's great.
Yeah.
But he was a class act. I mean, great actor. Like,
Mhm.
he had a screen presence. I mean, like when you saw him on screen, the first time I remember him is Rocky 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that movie came out was 85 or so.
Yes.
And that was the first movie, like one of the first movies I saw in the theater. And I remember him dying. You know, I was like, what the heck? He got punched in the head and he dies, and Rocky has to train the rest of the movie and kick his ass. So
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, that just came out 30 years ago.
Right?
probably about 40, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
He died in that movie?
I love
Yeah.
Only about halfway
I
through
love
it.
describing that one. I love describing Rocky 4 to people. Oh, that's the one where he ended the Cold War by punching it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
That's exactly how it went down.
But after
Oh,
that,
Rocky
that I
Four's
knew
the one
Russians were
with
bad.
Dolph Lundgren, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I must break you.
I must break you. Go
Because
for
he
it.
had the best scene, like he's coming out on there. He's got was it James Brown singing "Coming to America"?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything. And
Yeah.
it was great. And he had the top hat on. He's gonna kick his ass, and then
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was a whole montage to kick Drago's ass after that. So
well, you needed a full montage.
If you rewatch that movie, like half the movie is montages.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
They
him
probably
working out.
filmed that movie in about 2 weeks. There's only like two. It's only
Yeah.
like an hour of new footage.
Well, that
probably
workout
filmed it up in
montage is
Canada.
probably one of the most famous ones, where they're showing them back to back, and they're showing them, you know, the sort of the dichotomy of training, like out in the woods, you know, natural
Yes.
versus
Yeah.
the Russian, you know, they're all the machines hooked up and the electrodes and stuff like that. They're trying to prove a point, you know. It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
It's got like KGB agents following him in an old Mercedes, and they're probably driving up in Canada in the snow or something. Really,
Mhm.
Yeah.
they couldn't film it in Russia. So
Rocky's running up like this farm area with a log on his back.
yeah.
Chasing chickens and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
chasing chickens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, that's what the Creed movies are missing is Rocky. The last two, or the last one didn't have Rocky at all.
Yeah, because he's fighting with the producer.
Yeah, and I find it kind of crappy. I think
Yeah.
they should have him in there because the guy pretty much at least mentioned his name.
You talking about the Creed movies?
The
Yeah,
last
the-
Creed movie didn't mention him. I don't even think they mentioned him. At
Yeah,
all.
they didn't have Sylvester Stallone
Because he was in because he was in one.
Yeah,
Right,
he was in
and
And then
one
he
two.
wasn't in two.
Yeah,
I
he
haven't
was
seen
in
two. I saw one.
and then 3, and then they're making a 4th one right now. So.
Yeah. So what had happened?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Basically, Sylvester Stallone does not own the rights to Rocky, like to
Yeah.
create new ones. He sold it to the producer way back in the day, and so Sylvester Stallone now says, "Hey, I should own the rights. I created that character." But he did make a deal, so like,
Yeah.
that's the problem.
Well, if they want to, you know, it would behoove them to include him because he's a box office draw.
No, they're willing to pay him and do that, but he wants the rights.
He wants the rights. Okay.
Yeah.
So fun fact that I read about today. You know, we listened to that heartfelt message from Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
But he and Carl Weathers did not speak for several years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when Stallone made, was it Rocky Balboa around 2000?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Carl Weathers. So he approached Carl Weathers about using old footage of him in the movie, and Carl Weathers wanted to be in the movie.
Yeah.
And, yeah, but your character's dead.
As the ghost of boxing past.
I guess.
Yeah.
You want to be like Obi-Wan, you know?
So
Force
you know,
ghost.
Stallone hired a lookalike to film new footage.
Oh, wow.
Use because Carl Weathers wouldn't give him permission, and
Oh,
so
I
they
didn't
didn't
know
speak
that.
for several years. Yeah, they later reconciled.
Okay.
Which is nice. It's nice to hear that
Yeah.
that happened, and it was years later that they,
Right.
years ago that they
Yeah.
reconciled. So it was nice to hear that they reconciled before he passed.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's sad when you hear things like these two people that were so connected to each other, and then they had a falling out over dumb shit, and then one of them passes.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's like Bill Murray and Harold Ramis. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. They reconciled before Ramis passed, so that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll start
It's
with
a good
Groundhog
lesson to be
Day.
learned. And with these larger than life characters and actors, they have larger than life egos, larger than life bank accounts, larger than life everything. And when you have bigger everything else is bigger. The feuds are bigger. So.
Yeah.
And they're not the same people you see on screen. They're different.
No. Right.
No. Yeah.
So you see the good side. You don't see like the egos and everything else. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
and directors have egos too. So it goes.
Dan's a big prima donna. Most people don't know that.
Yeah, I am.
Dan, are you going to buy the Apple Vision Pro next for your car?
What?
The new Apple goggles. You need to get that for your car.
Oh, the VR thing, yeah.
Yeah, it costs $3,500. I mean,
yeah. No, just the Ko-fi account. Go ahead and
yeah.
One for each of us.
Fun.
That's the only way.
That'd be so cool. You sitting in the car with those goggles on right now.
No.
Doing the podcast.
No, it'd be so bad.
Actually, it'd be the same because he just had big goggles on. He could.
That's right.
Easily do it.
Yeah.
Because he could watch the channel and he could.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That's one of the coolest technologies I've seen so far. Have you seen the people driving their Teslas? Well, making the Tesla drive itself, and they're playing on the Vision Pro.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they're driving down the road with the headset on, and they're playing on the Vision Pro because Tesla won't let you play with your phone. So
Paul Chan says Apple goggles are like Google Glass, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Google did it like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And a lot less invasive. It was just like glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is cool because you put like a 100-foot screen in front of you, and then you could have your dashboard over here, like your computer, like your desktop, and then you could have like other stuff going on over here, and it's all in your vision.
I saw.
See.
Yeah, I saw a video of a guy. Like it was like a test video, but like he was working on his car, and so he had the goggles on, and so the things he was doing, he could see right there immediately. Oh, you need to do this. You need to do that. So,
oh wow!
Yeah,
somebody was playing the piano, and then it showed all the keys, and was doing like Guitar Hero.
Yeah, yeah. Hit this key now. Hit that key. Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, it's gonna be. We won't be able to afford it for years, but in the next couple of years, this thing's probably gonna take off.
Yeah,
especially with Apple.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna see idiots walking around town with these stupid goggles on, and
you'll be seeing them soon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dan shaking his head.
Yeah. Turn it into Predator mode. See everything.
Yes. Yes.
You're right. Right.
Yeah.
You'll have a heads-up display with everybody's name on there because you're.
Oh no!
Right. They'll be walking around with a little outline silhouette. It'll say what their name is and their social security number.
I just realized with access to the internet, Predator mode can mean a lot of different things. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Thanks, Chris.
What's his name from? What was the NBC Catch a Predator? What's his name? Oh, the guy that.
Chris Hansen. Yeah, he's still making
Chris
those videos.
Hansen.
Yeah, They dump them on YouTube. He still does them to this day. It's
all
crazy.
of a sudden, Chris Hansen comes in your peripheral, and you're like, busted. It's like sit down.
Yeah.
The cups.
How they haven't put Chris Hansen and the Predator in a Super Bowl ad together yet. I don't
Oh, that is a really terrible idea.
There is like a robot chicken or something where somebody did that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Makes him sit down in the kitchen and be like,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But anything else you want to bring up about Carl Weathers?
Well, if Van Damme played the Predator, how many times would the Predator do splits?
Huh. Quite a bit.
Because you can only imagine the Predator doing the splits with that whole outfit on, and
Or breaking bricks with his hand.
yes,
Yeah.
Or getting
And
his
then-
ass kicked, because Van Damme in a lot of movies versus some other action stars, he seems to get his ass kicked a lot in the movie.
Yeah, he does.
Like if you watch anything by any of these other guys,
Uh-huh.
who's the other big '80s action star that's now a sheriff? And,
Steven Seagal.
yeah, Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
Like he never gets touched in any of his movies.
No.
You know, he's just always just whatever. You know, he never
Yeah.
gets touched. Jean-Claude Van Damme gets his ass kicked in every single movie he's in.
There's that one Steven Seagal recently did a film where like he didn't even stand up for the action scene. He's in a chair doing like this because he just didn't. He's like, nah, I'm not gonna do anything.
Well, he's
His
a
hands are
master.
very fast. Like if you see,
Yeah.
like he's a big dude now. Like he's a he looks like he's retired and looks like
Yeah.
he doesn't really give a
He
shit
ate
about.
some devil dogs, so
A few. Yes.
plenty of devil dogs.
But
Yes.
he's still quick. Like I've seen
Yeah.
YouTube videos of him just like sparring in class, and they're like, "Okay, come up and try to take me down," and he's just like,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
he only wears black now. Because
That's
black,
very slimming. Yeah.
black and slim.
Well,
yeah.
Well, because he's a master. That's why. It's 'cause
Yeah,
He's a master
yeah.
of his art.
Uh,
What's it called? Is it?
right.
I'm trying to think what.
Called Aikido, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's another name for it.
Well,
a
have
lot
you
of
seen
martial
Boot-
artists. A lot of martial artists call it bullshido.
Yeah.
okay.
Have you
Yeah.
seen Putin do that too? Like all these guys, because he's a master at it, and all these guys are like falling in front of him because he's throwing them down, and
Oh, that's funny.
it's such BS.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's like
That's
you're such
funny.
a master. The best ones are when the master fights a real MMA fighter, and then they get their asses handed to them because they're trying
Yeah,
to skills. And...
Yeah.
and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, it doesn't really work that way. So
Huh.
maybe to like, somebody like me coming after him, yeah, he's gonna kick my ass. But
Right.
Oh, mine too.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
somebody else, no. So
All right. Well,
I mean, I can
Yeah.
take him.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, you
That I could
guys
see.
never.
That'd be a
you
good
guys never
podcast. I'll see if
mentioned-
we can make that happen. All of us. Yeah.
You guys never responded that little Ocho here said his grandpa was the luchador. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah.
guys. Think about it. That's
I think
like-
they've heard that before.
Yeah. No, I remember that.
I don't
Yeah.
remember that. That's freaking
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. I think I've told them in person. I don't think I've mentioned it on the show.
Do you have a mask or
No,
anything?
I think it was one of our very first shows when we were introducing.
Oh
ourselves.
yeah.
Oh,
okay.
I think you mentioned that.
Man, there's
No, I don't have any of his masks. He was only a luchador for a few years in Mexico in a very small company. He
Yeah.
got to be the world champion once when my dad got to go see him in person.
That's awesome.
But the promoter told him, "All right, you can win it in front of your son, but you're gonna lose it the next show." So
hey, that'd be worth it.
yeah,
I am nodding my head as if I have a clue what any of you guys are talking about.
yeah,
Mhm.
nice.
Wrestling.
So he
Cool.
he was the world
Wrestling.
champion of like 6 people. Yeah,
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Just
I mean, I'm
people.
starting to get from context. I'm starting to get
yeah,
it,
yeah. Very small company.
but-
But
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well,
All
thanks,
right.
Jezbiz. Thanks for being
Okay.
on.
Thank you guys.
All right. Yeah. So,
Jazz
anything
is
else you want to
great.
bring
He's
up?
consistent.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah. I like him too. All right.
Can we mention the Long Island thing?
Yeah, we'll have
Okay.
more to mention it later, in probably a few weeks. But
Okay.
yeah, so
I just
for
want to
sure-
make sure it's on everybody's mind and everything. I
Yeah.
cannot make it to the Long Island.
Right,
convention.
right.
My wife and I are actually flying out about 4 weeks later. We're going on a cruise.
That's
And
awesome.
So I
Yeah.
couldn't make the time off and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
But I'm very much looking forward to seeing you guys there. I'm hoping we can do maybe a live broadcast. A live,
Yeah, that's
that I
one
can
of the goals.
be part of.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to mention that Kalamazoo is going to have a Comic-Con. It's the Grand
Mhm.
Rapids Comic-Con, like the one I went to a few months ago. But it's their spring fling. They did it last year, where they're coming to Kalamazoo and doing their Comic-Con.
Okay.
and they just announced their Star Trek guest is going to be not a visitor.
Oh,
So,
right on.
Major Keanu Reeves. So I am excited about that. I have I have it around here. Oh yeah, I have it right here. A good friend of mine and my wife's.
Scott,
Yeah.
please address her as Colonel.
Yeah,
That's right.
my God.
Yeah.
I am so sorry, Colonel Kira.
Yeah.
So a good friend of mine gave me this. Her name's Erin, and she gave me this a long time ago, and it's the crew of Deep Space Nine, and Armin Shimmerman has signed it, and
Oh,
so
you're gonna get her to sign it?
I'm gonna get a visitor to sign it. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what you got to ask her?
What do I have to ask her?
So the last time you were there, you asked the guests there, who was the best at making, potluck food, and they said her. So now you got to ask her, what did she make?
Yes, that's a good idea. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Yeah. I'll have to ask her food related, which reminds me of a topic. I was wondering if I could throw out a topic we can do for a future show. Foods of Star Trek.
Oh, there you go.
So I've got the cookbook that that Ethan Phillips, who played Neelix, co-wrote. I bought it I bought it in Vegas at the Star Trek Experience.
Oh, nice.
And so I've made Hasbro, and it was amazing. And
was it good?
I was just wondering if you guys maybe we can talk about foods we've made, or maybe we can talk about prop foods, how they do prop foods, different Klingon foods, stuff like that. Maybe talk about that a little bit. So
yeah, we can talk about prop foods. Yeah. I've never made any of those recipes. I don't have the book, but I'm sure a lot of them are online, so I'm sure we could find recipes.
Oh yeah. I think there's another Star Trek cookbook too. So
yeah.
I used to frequent the restaurant at Star Trek: The Experience.
Nice.
And, so I have not made any Star Trek related food, but I have eaten a whole bunch of it. That I'm happy to.
Okay.
Awesome.
I'll maybe before we do this, maybe we should all try a recipe, an online recipe. From the book. But
all right.
But so good to see Nana Visitor, and for if there's anybody in the southern Michigan area, southwest Michigan area, the Comic-Con is going to be April 2nd through the 14th. I'm going to try to make an appearance all 3 days. If there's anybody interested in maybe doing a meetup, it's going to be at the Kalamazoo Expo Center, which is the fairgrounds for Kalamazoo County. So if you're gonna be around, hit me up in the Facebook group and let me know. We can do a hangout.
Yeah, that'd be great. Cool. All right. Well, on that note, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you next week.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Loopsie.
This is Captain Benjamin Sisko of Deep Space Nine and Space God to the Bajorans. I have a mission for you. This falls outside of Starfleet guidelines, so I can't order you, but I'm asking for volunteers. Volunteers who will subscribe to the Trekcast YouTube channel, leave 5-star reviews on your podcast app of choice, and share Trekcast across your social media accounts. If we can make our audience bigger, we might have a chance against the Dominion. Are you ready? Subscribe, like, and share. Are you with me?